brain. And so that's an important one. I claim that neural activity causes none of my behaviors and none of my conscious experiences. It's a useful fiction in everyday neuroscience. It's a very useful fiction to talk about area V4 of visual cortex causing my color experiences, and premotor cortex and motor cortex being involved in my motor behaviors and so on. It's a very useful fiction, and it's harmless, absolutely harmless, very, very useful. It's a shorthand. Strictly speaking, nothing in space-time exists unless it's perceived. And that includes my brain. So strictly speaking, I do not have a brain right now. And when I say that, a lot of people might say, well, you've just proven it. But I claim that I have no neurons and no cortex, nothing inside my head right now. If you did a scan, then you would see something, but it's in the act of looking. Just like when I look over there and I see a green Mustang, I'm creating the green Mustang on the fly. It's the same thing with neurons. Absolutely. Every time you look inside my head, you'll see neurons. As soon as you look away, those neurons don't exist. So again, for everyday neuroscience, I will talk with my colleagues about, area V4 causes color perception, MT or V5 cause motion perception. I'll talk that way. It's perfectly fine. It's harmless. Just like it's harmless if you're in virtual reality and you're playing a Grand Theft Auto game to see the steering wheel causes, when I turn the steering wheel to the left, it causes my car to turn left. Perfectly fine. When you're playing the game, to have that notion of cause and effect and things really existing, it's perfectly fine. It's harmless. It's not harmless if you're a game developer and you want to really understand how to modify or create a new game. If you really believe that the steering wheel actually did something, good luck. You have to understand that there's something, the steering wheel is just a little symbol in your headset. There's this whole supercomputer and all the software behind there. If you're going to be a game developer, you've got to be much more sophisticated than just staying inside the virtual game. You need to know about the supercomputer and how the virtual game relates to it. That's the hard problem of consciousness and its relationship to neuroscience. For everyday neuroscience, it's perfectly fine. You can just play the game. V1, is part of the starting point of visual cortex. V2, V3, V4, V5, MT, all these areas, you can talk about what they do. If you want to study the hard problem of consciousness, now you're like the game developer. Now you got to up your level of sophistication. You have to understand that you have to think outside of space-time entirely, outside of neuroscience and space-time, to a deeper level of reality and show how it creates space-time and brains. So that's where so ultimately we'll get a deeper theory of consciousness, and we'll show how neurons and brains arise as a interface representation of certain aspects of conscious agents and their interaction. So strictly speaking, I don't have a brain. Strictly speaking, neural activity causes none of my experiences and none of my behaviors. For everyday neuroscience, it's a good fiction, a very useful fiction to say otherwise, but for the hard problem of consciousness, that fiction comes back and bites you.